Welcome to Beyond the Press Release, a production of Agoracom, in which we take the time to speak with small cap executives right after they put out important news. With us today, you know him, Rob Anson, CEO of Loop Insights, trades on the TSX Venture Exchange under the stock symbol MTRX, and for our friends in the US under RACMF. What can we say? There's too much to say. He put it all in this press release of December 29th, recapping, and I'm going to read the headline here. The most successful year in history, highlighted by revenue-generating partnerships, world-class telecom partnerships, the world's first ever venue bubble implementation, and expansion to travel, film, live entertainment industries. Let's talk about that, but also let's talk about what's going to happen in 2021. Rob, welcome back.
George, how are you? I hope you had a great holiday break with the family.
I did actually. I think we all needed it, but more than anybody, I think you need it, and you kind of look refreshed. That's the first thing I said when you came on screen a couple minutes ago. You look fresh. How are you feeling? First of all, Merry Christmas, Merry belated Christmas to you, and Happy New Year coming up. How do you feel about the year, without going to the specifics yet, that just passed? If you have to kind of sum it all up on how great of a year 2020 was for you.
Yeah, I think it's something I'm very proud of. We've been through a lot of adversity as a company. We made a major pivot on the business side. Took head on a pandemic. Market instability back in March and April, and which seems like 5 years ago. But no, it is something that we've remained very focused in execution, and I always do my best to not let the noise, as I call it, deter me or distract me, if you will. My team has done a very good job of focus on building each puzzle piece and putting them together. And I think it's something that we've garnered a lot of respect from shareholders because of that work ethic, of course, and execution. When I say we're going to do something, we do it. I think that's a big difference here. Is we're not just telling a story; we're actually implementing a roadmap and execution on the strategy and putting the pieces together, as I said.
And the respect isn't just from shareholders, which is important, but it's also come, probably most importantly, from the industry. It's the announcements you made with TELUS, the announcement you made with NTT Data. That just shows that you're actually doing what you say you've been doing, and I think that was amazing. Instead of recapping everything, because it's in the press release and it's pretty detailed, we'll go over some of those, the bigger ones. I think what people really want to talk about is looking forward to 2021. You must feel like a Ferrari. If I had to guess, you must feel like a Ferrari sitting in a garage right now, because it's this forced pause. Whether we all like it or not, business essentially pauses between December 20th. A big enterprise level business, right? Pause between December 20th and the early first couple of days of January. What are you revving your engines? What does the first quarter look like?
Yeah, it's tough. Obviously, I had a loss of a good friend leading up to the break, so there's
right.
Time to deal with that. It was a real buzzkill in a lot of sense because we had so much momentum. It's nice to have a break and get a few hours of sleep, which my body's not used to, but no, if all kidding aside, yeah, it's I think my wife will be happy and kind of pacing around the house here and waiting to get back here on the 4th. We've continued working as a team over the holidays, of course, setting up the pipeline and our implementations that we have here in early January. It's tough too because so many of the projects that we're doing with large enterprise opportunities here are in legal stage, and everything comes to a grinding halt because of the holiday. It is what it is, but I'm excited for the 4th, and we plan on kicking things off with fireworks.
How do you well, that says a lot. Things on fireworks. I was about to say, how strong? Any chance that any of those pipeline items or all these pipeline items that you're kind of alluding to lose steam during this time off, or do you get the sense that your enterprise level potential clients are really ready to go as soon as you guys hit the ground running on the 4th?
No, I'm not worried about that at all. I mean, it's the biggest thing with our technology, and you're a big advocate of third party validation.
Yeah.
The technology has no value unless you solve a fundamental problem, and we're solving a lot of problems for a lot of companies, and that's what excites me. Obviously, shareholders and people on the outside, they look at putting these pieces and partnerships and deals together. But you know, I look at the future. I mean, I don't work on today. I'm 6 months, 9 months down the road at all times, and I know where we're headed this year, and it's going to be great to be able to come out of the gates here and put some pretty big stacks down that chip up, as they say, at the table, and make a big run here.
Do you think, just from what you're seeing, and we're not talking about share price, from a business point
Yeah.
of view, do you think, look, 2020 was a jump of several magnitudes. If you look at where Loop was on January 21st and where it is today on December 30th, the company, I mean, for goodness sakes, TELUS twice, NTT Data, you're now officially global, everything else that's going on. So I don't know, that's a jump of 3 to 4, 5 magnitudes. Do you kind of foresee the same jump in 2021 where you're going to look back on, on January 1st, 2021, a year from now when we're having this interview and think you've kind of done it all again?
No, I think we're this year was the foundation, and I've said on here before, we're just transitioning from crawl to walk. Um, this year we'll see major growth and expansion. So I think when we look back at this time next year, what we've done is very little, in my opinion, to date.
Wow.
It's great, all these names and stuff, but we're about to reap the rewards from all the groundwork, and that's exciting to me. We've done things in the right way. My team has continually pushed the envelope on building an infrastructure, which is key. And with our cash position now, we're full on execution mode, and this will be our biggest year by a country mile.
I don't think I'm the only one kind of taken back by you saying you didn't do very much in 2020, because from the outside, from the eyes of small cap investors, it looks like you guys have almost taken over the world. Not literally, obviously, but unbelievable strides. So for you to kind of say
Yeah.
that, I'm not sure if you're being hard on yourself and maybe you're
No,
not
it's
giving
not
yourself the
hard,
credit,
George.
or
I
just,
mean,
man, that's just the reality.
I understand what we have and what we've built, but more importantly, I understand the value of it and how to position it. And I know I mean, like I said, this isn't something we started building 18 months ago. I mean, this is going back 5, 6 years, So, when I started building this, it was for these time now, right? I understood the challenges that big data was going to create. I understood the value of artificial intelligence and machine learning and the world of automation. The timing is always key on everything. And for us, of course, the pandemic, it brought the ability for us to showcase all of our automation and contactless solutions and whatnot. So like I said, I'm excited about next year, and more importantly, where we'll be in 2023. That's the pavement's just hitting the road. It's not easy to get you know, um, I guess, credibility through these other groups. And, it's very long sell cycles traditionally, which speaks, miles as to what we have built. And when these groups, see that, and they approach us about, some of these opportunities as we previously shared, that to me, like I said, is, we haven't done anything yet, other than set the table. And now this year that it's all about execution and growth.
Up until December 16th, you were a very powerful North American company. You had TELUS in Canada. You had the basketball, the live bubbles in the US, and all sorts of other great things. And the year had ended there, it would still be a fantastic year. But December 17th, you announce the partnership with NTT Data. Did that news officially put you on the global map, officially put Loop on the global map? In other words, is there anybody, you're talking about one of the largest companies on the planet, is there
Yeah.
anybody that you're not speaking to at this point and around the world?
No, I mean NTT has huge scope and reach. It's something for us, and they have a multitude of different, for the shareholders. I mean, if they go on there and actually do some due diligence on NTT Data, I mean, they make TELUS look like a startup. I mean, it's just that big, right? I mean, they've got global reach. They're not just, they're based in Japan, but they have operations around the world. So for us, this is a very, very significant deal that we struck with them. And I'm very excited to see where we go next year.
And I guess I'm also leaning into uh, should we infer that there'll be other international deals done with other partners, or is NTT a fluke in Japan, but your bread and butter is going to be North America, or are you global now based on who you're talking to?
Yeah, I must be the luckiest guy in the world, right? Um, no, of course. I mean, like I said, going back months and months ago when I first came on here, um, I set our technology to encompass a SIM card module. The ability for us to provide revenue generating units to every telco globally, that's a huge story. And all telcos, go look up every telco there is. They all have an IoT section. They're all pouring millions and millions of dollars into that. It's very highly competitive. You're going to see the same products, watch, rinse, repeat over and over. And then you'll start to understand why the excitement of Loop, because what we're bringing to the market doesn't exist today. And it's a game changer for them as well. And the IoT channel is massive. I don't think people truly understand that yet, George. The size and scope of the IoT space. So for us to put that SIM card module in there, provide out of the box LTE connectivity and 5G, this is very game changing, and it's something here that is very powerful. And no, NTT will not be our only international client in 2021. There's many that we will put together.
I remember in July, either June, July, you made a statement that you're talking to two telcos in Canada, two telcos in the US. Now you've got TELUS, you've got NTT, who's neither of those. But
Yeah.
Given what you just said there, when you talk to telcos, is that what you're hearing from them, that you've got the product that nobody else really has in the marketplace right now, and that's why they're
Yeah.
so the likes of NTT and TELUS are bringing you on pretty quickly?
Yeah, it is. And like I said, people have to understand, we're trophy hunting. And it's not like I'm going to the local convenience store on the corner, Georgecom, as you say. Here's our product, right? I mean, we're the sell cycles here are long. To me, the feather in the cap is how fast we were able to infiltrate these once and execute once we got our foot in the door. Tell us with the contact tracing piece. I mean, that was a matter of 6 weeks. That's a huge deal. Our installation for the insights piece with Fobi, they were about 7 months of due diligence and privacy audit, security audit. I mean, very arduous, programs that these guys have in place. So, there's some pretty big groups that we're working with that people have most definitely heard of, that are right at the goal line, and we'll be running the ball in here I anticipate in the first quarter.
What are the in no particular order, but what are the two or three things that excite you the most about 2021 in terms of what you're going to be going to market with and what you expect to be commercializing and getting really successful at?
Yeah, I think it's verticals that I haven't even mentioned before. We most recently launched our digital healthcare platform. So healthcare will become a very big part of it. The pharmacy and grocery space are other two that we've got some very, very exciting things that will be coming forward here in Q1 in those spaces as well. So, just the one thing that I will say, George, is that I get people that oh well, you guys are a contact tracing company. I mean that's
No.
I put a lot of effort into making myself readily available to shareholders, whether it's on your platform or email, text. I mean, I got hundreds of people now messaging me on LinkedIn every day, which is fine. I can multitask and I don't mind sending them a quick response. But do some due diligence, because I mean that's contact tracing piece here is 5% of our business. And as we transition here, it's something that's going to evolve. And the digital healthcare platform and initiatives that we've created, these things aren't going to go away. They're going to evolve into other opportunities, which is fantastic. We've always used each piece of the technology as a carrot. Everyone at the end of the day is always looking for two things: looking for data and looking for new line revenue opportunities. And it's the loop real-time applications that enable all of the above. And so, like I said, we're in a huge position. So I'm not worried about the share price the last week or two. We're focused on next year. It's not just like it was when we started the year at 10 cents or whatever it was. It's not where we are. I don't look at today. I'm months and months down the road here. So it's going to be an exciting year.
And well, let's talk about that for a second. Not that you're going to be giving out advice to anybody, but look, most people, 90% of people have been invest in the company for a long time, and their portfolios look fantastic. But you have some people who maybe came on the last couple of weeks, who are expressing concern. So, I just saw a post on Agoracom. So, what do you say about that? And again, we're not talking about targets or anything like that, but what do you say about just the price action the last 5-7 days?
Sure. I mean, yeah, it's extremely light volume. I mean, you've got tax loss selling season as well. People, like I said, I mean, this isn't, if people are investing, for a 1 week hold, then, as I told people when we're at 10 cents, this isn't the right stock. Technology takes time to grow and evolve. We've done a great job of expediting that process, of course, but patience always wins. Like Warren Buffett says, no one likes to get rich slowly. And it's just true. I mean, if you go on TikTok or all these things, I mean, all I see now is every kid's got 6 screens up and they're a day trader, and all these different Discord groups, and this is an X stock and go 100x in 2 days, right? Like, I mean, come on,
it's
really?
.com all over again.
Well, but it is, and that's where, like I said, I mean, the seasoned investor, if you will. I mean, I spend majority of my time, George, focused on my presentations are with large funds the last 2 months. So I mean, they're the ones that are coming in, shaking the tree, and all of the these guys with the weak hands, if you will, are falling out. And I mean, that's why the banks always make all the money in the end game, right? So, like I said, there's FOMO, where people have got to jump in, and that's what social media does, of course, right? We all know that. But I said, it's a real business, right? We're not here building a story. We're executing a business. And like I said before, I don't begrudge anyone for selling at any time. I put together many, many crosses in the last year, big crosses, for people who didn't want to hang on. And of course,
get me out of 20 cents, get me out of 30 cents.
Yeah,
well,
no,
I 40, right?
I did. I I think I did a 2.5 million cross at 11 cents. I mean, the guy that did the deal, he, made a hell of a lot of money. So, like I said, is we're not telling a story. We're building a business. And, as I said, when I say that we haven't done anything yet, I know what we've done and set the table. And this is the year here where people will reap the rewards. And whether you were in at 298 or whatever the high was last year, or 10 cents, it's going to be irrelevant as to where we go in 2021.
And I do know some people too. I had a couple of friends who said, George, I feel bad, but I had to sell some loot because I was up 10x or 15x or 20x, and it's Christmas. And I said, hey, that's natural. There's that people can't just buy. Some people got to sell. So yeah, I think you're
well for sure. I mean, it's the same side of it. Like, let's get real. I mean, I've had, dozens upon dozens. I mean, I've even shared some of them with you. This has been game changing for people, life changing, right?
Yep. Yes.
There's families that, I had one right before Christmas that, both couples lost their jobs, enabled them to keep their house and buy gifts for their kids. How do you get mad at that? I mean, like I said, I'm a little different. I really don't care what people have to say, for the most part. It is what it is, right? Love me, hate me. It is what it is.
You're loved, trust me.
Well,
you're about as loved as it can get. Even the Pope doesn't have 100% approval rating at the end of the day.
For sure. But like I said, for me, all I do is, work my ass off every day. And like I said, I can't control the share price. It goes up and down just like the tide comes in and out. Like I said, it's not a 7-day stock. This is something that people hold for the next 6 months, a year, 2 years. We're going to be in a good spot. So, I love all the stories. And as I said, all of the guys that light me up and, that stuff, the bulletin board stuff is, I take it all, and it's great. I love it. And, I think for the most part is I truly care about one thing, and that's success. And success is measured in so many different ways for many people. But for me, I have an end game result here. And I understand the value of what we're creating, and I understand where we're headed. And whether people jump on or off the wagon, it is what it is. I can't control that.
And let's talk about that. Clearly, you and your board see something in the future that which led to putting together your uplist plan. And your plan to first go to the TSX. If that's successful, we have to make sure we tell everyone no assurances. If that's successful, then NASDAQ. That's not based on wishful thinking. That's based on, I'm presuming you're not going to put a press release about that. You're looking at your pipeline, you look at what's coming, and you want to meet, it's almost you want to meet that point in the future by planning for it today. Should we infer that you have a high, just from that press release alone, you have a high degree of confidence, you and the board, as to where the company's going to be in 2021?
Well, I'm extremely confident. I mean, like I said, it's I don't do anything half-ass. For me, TSX will be a process, of course. Everyone knows that. But like I said, for me, it's about timing, and it was the right time. It's the same thing with our CFO. I'm always looking to improve and get better every day, and I don't care who it is. It's just the way we operate. And we don't hire for position. I always hire for talent. It's why we've been so successful with such a small team. Is we have everybody, has skin in the game. Everybody's going in the same direction, and that's how you succeed. You have to have full buy-in.
Not that I'm going to ask specific, but I did see on some posts around social media, which was the announcement with MGM and BDG Sports about a big tournament. I think I believe it's going to be a conference tournament that determines who goes to March Madness from that. So people are speculating, are we going to have a venue bubble there as well? I don't know if you can answer it, but is it kind of safe to assume that you're talking or you're.
Yeah, there's of course, George, there's a lot of conversations. Everyone, not just NCAA, but many of the pro sports leagues. You got Major League Baseball trying to figure out how to reopen. I've got NCAA still wondering what to do about the bowl games. NFL. There's it's quite a unique opportunity, and it's very interesting to me to see. As we look at some of these past events and what that really did for us. I mean, when I looked at, I think it was on your platform, someone was unhappy that the first bubble was a pilot, and that I agreed to do it as a use case. I would do that over and over all day long because it has put us in such huge positions now with so many other opportunities. The same side of it, you have to make an investment. There's a lot of large groups that we're working with today as a result of that. And, like I said, I mean, I'm not in it for, I don't want to take your money once. I want to get my hand in your pocket and take it for the next 5 years. So, sometimes you have to make an investment. I do that over and again in a heartbeat.
Well, allowed you to showcase it live in
Yeah,
Vegas, where the world's biggest hospitality
yeah,
companies are, agencies, sports,
yeah.
or just down the street from LA at the end of the day.
You know what? I think one thing that I can say, and I always have a bit of a different approach, and most of the time it benefits me, sometimes not so much, but is what it is. But one of the things that I heard a lot from some of these large, casino groups and sporting teams and whatnot was the fact that we came across as genuine and we wanted to help, right? These groups have lost hundreds of millions of dollars a month, right, by being shut down, restricted access for patrons, whatnot. So like I said, for us, gaining credibility, I guess, if you will, business is all about people, and to me, it's about relationships. And like I said, they see right through the guy that comes in, right, the big smile and shiny suit and handout, looking to take money once and go out the door. Where we've been building relationships, and as you see with BDG, with Brooks, for example, we came on here with a reseller agreement with Brooks and a partnership and a true working partnership. And look where it's gotten us. There's
Yeah.
certain events that you've mentioned, and many others that we look to be part of in the early new year. And like I said, it's not always about very short-sighted thinking to grab a check and run. I'm looking to build long-term investment and partnerships.
And you've certainly done that. 2020 proved it. NTT, TELUS, Vend. I mean, we almost forget about Vend sometimes, right? Because of these big names. But here's a
Yeah,
group who's got 25,000 customers in, I don't know, 40 countries around the world or something like that.
yeah.
And they're all in on Loop for 2021.
Well, people, yeah, that's a great point. I'm actually glad you brought that up because, yeah, I had a lot of people. Oh, well, what happened to Shopify? What happened to TELUS? What happened to Vend? Well, no retailer will put in any new technology
No
over the
way.
Christmas period.
Not a
That is
chance.
their biggest money making session there is. So be patient. We have a big game plan and strategy with Vend and Shopify to launch here in the early new year. And like I said, the retail world will be a very big story.
All right, we'll leave it at that because I want to try and get more to you, but I know I can't. So I'm not gonna. I don't want to ask. I think you've given a really good picture as to, hey, real granular. I mean, safe to assume January 4th, you're going to be up and running and back to your normal pre-holiday schedule where you're going literally 20 hours a day. I mean, everything is lined up.
Yeah, like I said, we've been working internally all through the break with our implementations and getting our hardware software set up for deployment here for early January on many global projects. So it's we had a few days of rest, but no, I'm very excited, George.
Yeah, so are we. Rob, on behalf of everyone who's watching or listening at home, thanks for what you've done. And especially for those people, you're right, you've changed lives. I know a couple of people myself who ran to really tough times during COVID, but they became shareholders of Loop back in June, July, and literally said if it wasn't for Loop, they don't know what they would have done to end off the year. So, but congratulations on a great year. Thanks to you and the whole team for what you've done for everybody. And the most exciting part, I think the most exciting statement I got from you out of all this was you've done very little in 2020, but set the table in 2021 is going to be the big year. So can't wait to see it. Thanks for joining us. Get a couple more days of rest. New Year's Eve is a couple of days away. And then I don't know. We're probably going to see you back pretty soon. I have no idea when. I won't be surprised if you give me a call on January 4th and say, George, we need to be on with you on January 5th or 6th or 7th.
Yeah, the 4th is a good day.
Thanks for joining us, Rob. Have a great day.
Thanks, George. Happy New Year to you and the family.
For everyone at home, you've been watching or you've been listening by podcast to Rob Anson, CEO of Loop Insights, trades on the venture exchange on the stock symbol MTRX for our friends in the US under RACMF. If you're longtime shareholder, then you know the story, and Rob's kind of painted the picture of what he thinks 2021 is going to look like. If you're a new shareholder, you got to do your due diligence. I think the best way to get that done, is watch the last 4 or 5 interviews that we've done with Rob, maybe even more, because I think we've done that just in December almost. But go to the broadcast center of Agoracom, punch in the company's name or stock symbol, and then either watch or listen to them as you're walking, driving around, lounging around. But I think that's the best due diligence you can do. And hopefully you're going to discover your next great, amazing small cap technology company. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Hope you've all had a Merry Christmas, Happy Holiday, and wishing all of you a very safe and Happy New Year. Can't wait to see you on the 4th. Can't wait to see Rob sometime after the 4th. Have a great day. Talk to you next time.